Do you struggle with sales questions? Are you hoping the customer says yes, but actually they tend to always say no and you don't know what to do next? If so, then today's video is definitely going to be for you. My name is Mark Bailey. I own a photography studio that I've had for over 15 years. And hopefully this is something you can learn that I've learned from all of my mistakes. If you're interested in the business side of photography, the marketing and the sales, then this channel is definitely for you. So give us a like and a subscribe and follow us along. My next video is going to be all about what happens next and the follow-up after the client books in. But today's a really useful one. We're going to go through layering questions. It's a really useful tip that we use and we've used it for years, and it helps us get the desired answer that we want from our client. So I learned this years and years ago, back when I was a kid actually. It's a little thing that I've kind of developed from when I used to do magic. There's a little thing called magician's choice. So there is a point I'm going through this. What you'll notice if you go and watch any sort of magic trick, or you see a magician at a wedding or something like that, they'll have a pack of cards and they'll sometimes split the pack into two, and they'll go, right, choose one of the piles. And you'll choose whichever one you want because you've got free choice and you're in control. And so you choose the one on this side and he does the trick with this side. Or you choose this one on this side and does the trick with that side. Now for the magician, giving away the secrets here, this is called magician's choice. Let's say I have two packs here, or I've taken a pack and I've split it into two. And I ask you to choose one of them, but I know what the top card is on this pile here. Now you come along and you go, right, I'll choose this one. I'll say, I'm going to put that one aside because that's the one you chose, and I will grab this one here and I'll take the top card. Now I know what card you've got. Let's go back a little bit. I have these two piles and I know the top card's still on this one, and I say to you, choose a pile. So you choose this one this time. So I go, you chose that out of free will, take the top card and look at it. Again, you think you're in control, but actually both outcomes, the magician's been able to get you to choose this top card and you don't question it whatsoever. It's called magician's choice and they use it all the way through a lot of their card tricks and stuff. So we can do that ourselves by giving the client a multiple choice answer that they've got to choose from. That sounds really simple, but sometimes you can't always do that. So what we use is layered questions. It's very simple. All we're going to do is we're going to ask a question, but not let the client answer it. Straight away, we're going to put another question on top. And if we need to, another question. Now, depending what your outcome is, the more layers you add, the better the response is from your client. Now, if we just go on simple terms with this, first of all, objections, they are what kill our sales. So one of our key principles is we need to make sure that we deal with every objection before that objection is brought up where it can stop us in our progress. So I'm not sure if that makes sense. Let's say we've done the photo, this client's booked in, they've done the photo shoot, and now they've come back and we're in the design room and they're seeing their pictures and we need to ask them, so what is it that you think you're going to go for? Now, let's say they're going to throw out an objection of something, we're moving house, and so we don't know where it's going to go in the house, and we haven't thought this far through, or actually we need to think about it and stuff. That's an objection that could kill it dead there. And depending on how you handle it and how good your sales skills are, you may be able to claw it back. It may kill the sale dead. Now, in the photo shoot, you should be talking to your client, just having nice conversation, but at the same time dropping in little things all the way through without it feeling salesy, without it feeling like they're probing questions, just conversation going on. And if you're good at it, you should have known in the shoot that this client's moving house. Now, in your mindset, you should be thinking that could be an objection at the sales room. So I need to deal with that now. And the way you would deal with that is start to throw some things in. Maybe you would go, oh, amazing, you're moving house, fantastic. Right, well, first thing you got to do when you get there is boom, you got to get something on the wall so little one knows this is the new home, this is where the family matters and stuff like that, and start planting those little seeds. But you do it in a conversation so it's not salesy. Now, at the same time, if somebody's moving into a house and they say to you, we haven't thought about where stuff would go, nobody goes and buys a house without looking at it. They go and view the house first, and they start to imagine themselves living in that house. They start to think where the sofa's going to go, the TV's going to go and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll go see the house 2, 3, 4 times before they've put the offer in or before everything's completed. So Somebody moving house for me used to be an objection and it used to be difficult. Now it's one of my easiest sales because we control that objection. Now, if we come back to this, what we were talking about with the layering question, sometimes you're going to be able to deal with every objection before you get to that design room. And if you can do that, then the only question that comes up in the design room tends to be, how are you paying? Is going to be cash or card. Now, let's go back to layering questions and how that can help us. So first of all, you may have a bit of an empty calendar and you're talking to somebody on the phone and you go, right, so what day is best for you? And that leaves it really open, that question. They can give you one of 7 days, can't they? On top of that, they could also go, I'm not too sure, I need to speak to my partner. They can go, I'm not too sure, I need to look at calendars. They can go, so what dates do you have? They can go, well, I'm not, how long does it take? This can go on and on and on. Now, let's say you want somebody in this week and you want them in Thursday or Friday. Now I can start to lay in my question and I can go, so what day is best for you? There's my first question. Let's throw another question on top before they answer. So what day is best for you? I've got Thursday or Friday. So now I've given them a multiple choice. But I might want to narrow that down even more. So I could layer that question because I want them either in on Thursday morning or I want them in on Friday afternoon. So let's do it so that I'm only going to offer 10 o'clock and I'm on Thursday and I'm going to offer 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And I'm in control of this and now they've got a multiple choice, so they're going to give me one or the other. They can still go, oh, they don't work for me. Or using social proofing and using fear of missing out, if I throw in, these are the only dates I've got available this week and they really want it this week, they will then choose one of those. So that would sound something along the lines of, so what day is best for you? I've got Thursday or Friday this week that's left and the only ones I've got are going to be Thursday at 10 or Friday at 2. Which one of those is good for you? And now it's a multiple choice and I'm in control of that. So I can use that all the way through. I may decide, actually, they've said already, so do you do the weekend? Saturdays are the best day for us. Saturday might be empty for me for whatever reason, but I don't want to have them booked in at the end of the day. I mean, I have to wait all day for that client to come through. Also, I'd like to maybe bring them in very early on. Maybe I want to bring them in at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock so that I can then edit it afterwards and show them the pictures on the same day and turn that from a shoot to what we call a shoot and view and get a nice big sale straight away. Especially when we do that, if everything, all the buying signals are there, they're caught up in it and the emotion is high and so the value is high and experience is good and so we get a bigger sale. So I would go, so you mentioned before that Saturdays are best for you. So this Saturday is available if you want that. The only times I've got are going to be the morning. So I've got 10 or 11, which one do you want? So again, it's layering that question. Now you're probably listening to this going, well, that's just kind of how I talk anyway, in which case, fantastic. You're already layering a question. You're doing it without realizing, and we probably do it day to day. So it shows how easy it is. It's just now we're becoming aware of it and we can use this to run our business a lot smoother. Where else can we use this? Now, for me and my team, it's important that we know what mum's job is and that we know what dad's job is for multiple reasons. One, we may decide that we want to theme the shoot around that. Maybe dad works away or something, maybe he's in the military, so we're going to maybe bring something like that into it. You know, maybe because dad's always away, can dad maybe bring his helmet? We could do newborn pictures within the helmet and stuff like that. On top of that, there may be something, maybe you've got an issue at work. Maybe you, I don't know, maybe you need some electrical wiring redoing for your electrical safety test, and that may have a price tag with it. Now you may have a client who comes in who dad actually specializes in that, and so maybe there's something there where you can go, well, I'll tell you what, I can do you this discount and you can, if you want to come in and help do this job for me or so, that could help you. There's also the sales part of it as well. You want to start building your avatar. Who are your key clients that you're going to start targeting with your marketing? And so you want to keep a track of, so I know what dad's job is, I know what mum's job is, and over the course of however many weeks or months of shoots that I've done, I can start to look at it going, there's a pattern here. People in this industry tend to spend here. People in that industry tend to spend a bit lower. People in this industry tend to spend a lot higher. So that's the industry I'm going to go for, or that's the demographic I'm going to go for. So you want to try and find that out. Now it's very difficult if you're just chatting to somebody, go, hey, can I just quickly ask what dad does for a job? Now why do you need to know that? It's just so I know because I'm getting some data. Why, are you going to treat me differently? So it can be a very awkward question. But again, if you layer your questions, it's just part of the conversation. And people love to talk about themselves, their partners, their lives and things like that. And think about how many settings that you've been in where you're chatting to people like, oh, how's work going and things like that. So for us, because we concentrate on family photography and newborn photography, it's actually quite an easy question when we layer it. So let's say they're booking in for a shoot and then I would go, so is dad going to come along? That might just be a straightforward yes or no. Or he's too busy or whatever else. So let's layer that question. So it's newborn photography. So is dad going to come along? Is he able to get time off work? What is it that he does? Can you see how I layer that question? All of a sudden, it just feels like it's part of the conversation. So again, that would be a case of, so I'll be on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Now is dad going to come along? And is he going to be able to get time off work? What is it that he does? Oh, he's a quantitative surveyor or whatever it might be. And so again, I'm finding out that information just by layering the questions, but I'm aware that I'm doing it and how I'm going to get there. Now, if you are layering your questions and you don't get the answer that you want, then next time you ask, make a note of it, and next time you ask that question to somebody else, add another layer. And you add enough layers until you get to the desired outcome or the desired response that you want. Now, another good one that we use, and this is where we use it the most in all honesty, is during the sales process. And it's not at the end. This is done all the way through. We use this in the phone call. We repeat it again, maybe once or twice throughout the shoot. And we certainly use it in the design room when we're trying to sell our wall art. And this will be probably the most useful for you. This is where you're asking your clients, what are they going to do with their pictures? Now, 9 times out of 10, your client's going to go, I don't know. Or they're going to say, we're probably just going to get digitals. Or the main thing for your client is they're scared of making the wrong decision. What if I spend X amount and it's not big enough? And then I've wasted that money. Or what if I spend X amount and it's too big and then I regret doing it? There's a lot of fear. So what we want to do is help educate your client. And we've covered this in a few other videos. And it's worth watching this mini series of how we go from lead all the way through to creating a perfect client. And there is no such thing as a perfect client. Your leads come in, you've got to create that perfect client. So watch our mini series that this is, this playlist, because it will really help you nurture that client. And we cover this quite a bit, this next layer in. So we're going to ask the client, what are you thinking of doing with your pictures? It's so open-ended and you're probably going to get, I don't know. We're then going to throw another layer on it. And we're going to ask them, where do they spend the most time together as a family? Now, if you just ask that outright, it sounds salesy. So we're going to throw it out going, so what are you thinking of doing with your pictures? Most people will put them in the room that they spend the most time together as a family. Where's that for you? That's our second question. Now, again, at that point, they could turn around and go, well, we don't really. My son is a teenager upstairs in his bedroom on his computer. I'm in the kitchen, the dining room, or the laundry or whatever. And dad's in the shed or in the living room or where we don't spend much family time together. And that's quite typical. And that's probably why they've come for a photo shoot, to try and reconnect. It's why we go on holidays, to try and reconnect. So I'm going to throw in another one before they can answer. And this is my multiple choice. Is that the living room, the kitchen, the dining room? So I've taken away all of this. What are you thinking of doing with your pictures? And the client's got to think, and what if I get it wrong? To where do you spend the most time together as a family? Then they've got to think about the family unit and things like that. And then I'm going to throw my third layer on, which is multiple choice. Kitchen, living room, dining room. Now they're probably going to say one of two, kitchen or dining room. We don't want to be hearing hallway. We don't want to be hearing stuff like that. So you want to choose rooms where they can put something nice and big. Now kitchen's a nightmare because there's not much wall space in a kitchen. But there's more and more houses where it's knocked through kitchen diner, and that can become like a family room. So, but now I've got 3 choices that the client can choose from. So that again, really good way of layering your questions in the sales process, and it's all the way through. And what we're doing is just planting that little seed. So the client then starts to think about that room and wall art going in that room, and that really helps. And the earlier on in the process that we can bring it, in the phone call and then the shoot, the more they start to think about it. So when they come back to the design, they're then talking about buying wall art. So again, that would be, so what are you thinking of doing with your pictures? Most people will put them in a room that they spend the most time together as a family. So where's that for you? Is that the kitchen, the living room, or dining room? And so I've changed my question from what are you thinking of doing with your pictures, to go into, can you say kitchen, living room, dining room? And then I know my next steps from that point on, because now we're talking about something in that particular room. Makes it much easier to make a sale. So this is all about layering questions. It's really worth practicing this and going through and thinking about little choke points for you where I get so far on the phone call and this kills it. Or I'm doing whatever in the photo shoot and I can't get mum and dad to get onto the pictures. So maybe I can use layering here. Or in the design room when I'm at the sales stage, what you should do after every design is come out of that and make a list of every objection that you got in that design room. How many of those objections can you bring up in your own safe space with layering to get the right result and squash that objection, so you can go through that? It's no longer an objection. And when you get to that design, it makes a much happier process for you and for the client. That is everything. So tomorrow I'm going to go through on what we do once the client's booked in, what all the follow-up is and why we do it as well. I hope you're finding this useful, so if you can please give me a subscribe, give me a comment if there's anything in particular that you want me to go through on one of our next videos, and go through, watch the playlist for start to finish on a lead coming through all the way through to getting them booked in with you, sorry. I hope this has been useful. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.